Magic the Gathering fans are about to get something they haven't had in a while. A break. Because now with the release of Phyrexia All Will Be One, we have nothing coming down the pipe until April 21st when we get March of the Machine. And then of course in May we have Aftermath. So this is going to be an interesting time to see how the singles market reacts to these cards being there with nothing new coming down the pipeline for over 60 days. If you just came here for the simple answer to today's video, the singles market is hot and now you can leave. But if you want to stick around, welcome back. MTGMOXMAN here. Thanks again for being here on the channel with me today as we talk about the hottest selling cards in Magic this week. Now, before we get started, guys, understand what's happened the last couple of weeks. Dominaria Remastered was a reprint set that came out. It's like a blip on the map. People have already forgotten about it. The sales have been dwindling last week when, of course, we had Phyrexia All Will Be One coming out and it was starting to take over the market. But at that time, the two were kind of evenly spaced throughout the sales. But now, we already know Brothers War has been kicked to the curb. Dominaria United, what's that? People have already forgotten about that set. The sealed stuff is sitting on the shelves. Not to mention anything from New Capenna and backwards, Kamigawa. Those cards haven't been on the list for a few weeks. And the way the world is working right now, the money moves to the hottest new set and then it gets forgotten. So you can expect to see a lot of Phyrexian All Will Be One cards on the list this week. As people start their deck construction and deck building, these are the cards that they are buying for some unknown reason that we're going to discuss during the video. So enough time wasted. Get ready for this because these are your hottest selling cards and the market is definitely shifting. In the number 10 spot this week is White Sun's Twilight with 1,090 sales, which is a big step up from last week's number 10 slot. In the sheer volume of sales, this is almost double the last week's numbers, which is very high. And you can see there, with a market price of only $1.66, it's a pretty affordable card, and it is seeing a lot of play in Arena. Here locally in Canada, you're spending about $4 Canadian or €2.40 to get this card into your house. And when you're taking a look at the actual card, the double white plus X, this card is, of course, a repetition of cards we already know, but the fact that this one creates tokens with Toxic can be a real game-ending effect if you can slip in an extra turn, and there are still a lot of red spells that do that in the game. Even if you lose it at the end of that turn, this card will guarantee a death of an opponent if you can get enough of these guys out there or have done some previous toxic damage. Very, very cool card. Now, number 9 this week is a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect to see this card here, but I started to think about this card, and that's Minor Misstep. When you take a closer look at this card, 1,171 sales, market price of $1.88, $3 here in Canada, and €2.29 to get this card into your house. It's a single casting cost instant. Counter target spell with mana value 1 or less. But the interesting thing is, most of these cards when they're designed are not meant for the current set, but for sets that are upcoming. Because it's a standard set in rotation, it's got to pair off against other spells. And we've seen so many low-level casting cost spells for everything from New Capenna forward that it makes me think there's some low-level artifacts coming into play soon, maybe an Aftermath that we have to be aware of, or a low-level casting cost enchantment that will have to be dealt with. It can't just be creatures with Toxic. There's always something more to it. I can't wait to find out what that is. Now, the number 8 card this week is the Bloated Contaminator. Again, a card I didn't expect to see here, but 1,374 sales, market price of $3.51 US, €3.18 to get this card to your house, $5 here in Canada. When you take a closer look at this card though, 1 green, 2 generic for a 4/4 Phyrexian Beast with Toxic 1, and whenever Bloated Contaminator deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. This can be disgusting. So it's not just Toxic, it's Toxic plus Toxic. So you got to be aware of cards like this. They are seeing play, and that's why the sales are starting to ramp up, because people are seeing the availability and power of some of these cards to deal with multiple issues. These cards are just powerhouse, man. But that's your number 8 card this week. Now we jump down to number 7 this week, and of course it's Elesh Norn, Mother of the Machines, with 1,489 sales. Even as the price continues to dip down a little bit, we are seeing that kind of angle happening. Like, it's after pre-release, people decide what they're doing with it. It's going to be pretty big in Commander, I'm sure, but it may not be the biggest card right now in the standard format, which means sales may stagnate. Oh wait, I forgot. Nobody plays Standard. So nobody cares. The sales are what the sales are. 1,489 sales. You got the market price of $44.24 US. It's around $70 here in Canada, and it's €31 to get this card into your house. I mean, she's the mother of machines, man. Not the mother of dragons, the mother of machines. That's what I'm talking about. Now, number 6 this week. Didn't think this card would be here either. 1,651 sales for the Mycenoth Gardens, okay? This card has a market price of $9.52 US. It's around $14 here in Canada. €7.59 to get this card in your house. Now, take a look, though. It's kind of interesting. You got that one kind of waste mana you can tap for, sure, but one in tap, any mana you need, and it's the last ability. The Mycenoth Gardens becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value of X. Think about all the crazy artifacts you can play. And I'm also talking vintage and legacy. Think about the crazy artifacts out there and tell me this is not going to find homes all over Commander. People, I mean, I wasn't really thinking about this card when I first saw it. Now I'm going, wait a second. That card is going to see a lot of play. Number 5 this week. Skrelev the Defector Might. Now, I myself am using this card inside of a deck on Arena to try it out. But look at the sales at number 5, guys. 2,203 sales. Market price of $4.21, $6 here in Canada, and €5.93 to get this card into your house. It's a 1 casting cost creature with Toxic. Legendary artifact creature, Phyrexian Might, with Toxic 1. Choose a color. Another target creature you control gains Toxic and Hexproof from that color until end of turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color. See, it's a crazy card, okay? We don't usually see protection cards, at least in the last couple of sets. So this is kind of nice to see it coming out. I like it. It's a little might, although it makes me wonder how big it is. Like, how gigantic is that might is my question. I love it, though, okay? So, great card. It is seeing play. I'm using it myself. It's fun stuff. Oh, boy. Here we go. Venerated Priest. 2,957 sales. Market price is $12.97. $18 here in Canada. €8.93 to get this card in your house. I'm tired of seeing this card already. It's everywhere on Arena, guys. Get ready for it, okay? This is a 1/2 toxic creature with a 1 casting cost. But nobody ever plays it in the first turn, by the way. They play it on the second turn after they can keep it alive with all the hexproof gaining things out there. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, opponent gets 1 poison counter. So this thing targets itself, keeps itself alive. You copy this creature multiple times using all kinds of copy spells, and before you know it, your opponent's dead on like turn 4. Keep this stuff in mind. This thing dies the second it comes out, and if you see it on the battlefield, kill it. Do not let it live. Find a way to get it out of the game. Number 3 this week, okay? Let's jump right past the Rot Priest, and that is the Eternal Wanderer. I was a little surprised here. 2,986 sales. Market price has been falling. It's $4.22. US, it's around $6 here in Canada. €2.95 to get this card in your house. But here's something interesting. A lot of people may not know it, but when you see the 2 white, 4 other, great. I don't care about that. No more than 1 creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer. That's kind of nice. Keeps it around. But it's that first ability. The first ability. Forget the second 2. It's the first one. Exile 1 target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield at the end of combat. So I myself have used a little combination using the Aether Channeler to unsummon things like the Might Stone, Weak Stone to give things extra -5s to draw extra cards. But this thing can do it every turn. This thing can unsummon things and cause triggered abilities to go off over and over. You mix this thing with like Elish Norn and stuff, and you've got some really disgusting things to worry about. And the fact it will only be attacked by 1 creature at a time, pay attention to a card like this. It may see more play than people realize, and the sales tell me people are trying to break this card down and make it work for them. Now, number 2 should not come as a surprise, although last week's sales of like 6,000 plus was insane. This week is still a really high number. It got moved down from number 1 to number 2, but it is Sheoldred's Edict, okay? This card has fallen a little bit in price. The market price is $1.39. It's $1.50 here in Canada, I believe, or $2.50? $1.50, I believe. And you got €1.05 to get this card in your house, but 3,980 sales is insanely high from anything we've seen lately. I'm not saying players have forgiven. I'm saying the singles market is hot. And price-sensitive players are going after cards they really desire, and this is one of them. But the shortfall I was seeing has definitely ended. The glut of these cards has now entered the market, and most stores have tons of copies for you to buy at very reasonable prices. Keep that in mind. This card is a disgustingly powerful card that will be played all over the place. I've already faced off and used it numerous times. All right, guys, let's go ahead. You've waited long enough. It's time to get down to your number one card this week, and that's Scaralev's Hive with 4,320 sales, and this card is spiking in value. The market price is $6 US. It's $10.90, 80 cents here in Canada. And you've got a foil costing $7.02, €4, 93 cents to get this card into your house. But this is one of those cards that's just fun. Scaralev's Hive. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and you create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Mite token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. Corrupted. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with Toxic now have lifelink. Guys, wow, that was a mouthful to say, but that card is just burning up the charts. It is selling all the time. I have stores asking if I had extra because I was making some phone calls like, hey, did you get a whole bunch? I'm like, no, I don't. I have like 2, and I'm keeping mine. Although I probably should get 4. Anyway, this is your hot 10. This is where the hottest selling cards are, and this can give you a good insight into what people are building with these decks right now and what people are trying to do in the market. So how do you feel about the hot 10? How do you feel about Phyrexia just ruling the entire board? We haven't had this for a while, but it's pretty interesting stuff. So thanks a lot for hanging in. Thanks for being here with the MoxMan. I look forward to reading your comments in the comment section. Enjoy the rest of your day. Play some Magic and kick back. If you see the Rot Priest, end that Rot Priest, man. End the Rot Priest. The Rot Priest. And to all the fantastic patrons who support my channel each and every day of the month, of the whole year, and into infinity. Thanks again to all those fantastic patrons who take the time to do it, guys. It means a lot to me on the channel. You guys rock. Welcome back to Rambling and Complaining with MTGMOXMAN. Do you want to know how many toxic decks I've seen now on Arena? Say out of 20 matches. Take a second. Think about it. Out of 20 matches, how many did I see using toxic? You guessed it. You're right. One of you guys has got to be right. It's 20. Every single deck played toxic in a row that I tried out. I took breaks and stuff, guys, but every deck throughout the day was playing toxic, trying to find ways to kill you on like turn 3, turn 4. And it's possible. Okay, it's really possible. So you better have board wipes. You better have ways of exiling stuff. You got to keep this stuff in mind because it is crazy out there, guys. Toxic is really powerful, and players are going to try to work it in there. They're going to try to work this into Modern, man. They're going to make it happen. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Thanks for supporting the channel, guys. It means a lot to me. It really does. Have a great day today. Go play some draft. Have some fun. Go play with some Toxic.